Hi, let's meditate. When you have a busy day, it takes time to settle. But that may be in my mind. I may settle very quickly. I just realize I have so many things that I can think, appreciate, and talk because of the things that I experienced, but it's all gone. But my mind says, why don't you capture? I wonder what's the point of capturing lessons learned. My lessons learned is pretty much always the same. If I was busy, what's the point of remembering? But I have a paradox now that I can rest quiet or I can talk something. But if I were to talk something, I want it to be meaningful. Now, that's interesting. What's meaningful? I had lots of time to talk with my brother for 6 hours or more. We had a walk in the temple area and the public park, lots of roses and flowers. Then we had lunch. We kept on talking, and then after that, we went to a museum on the way back where there are lots of stuff remained from thousands of years ago, 3 to 5,000 years ago. Potteries, remains of the people. It was so interesting that I got so tired after a while of absorbing so much things. What was that I was absorbing? How people lived long time ago, bare minimum existence, but some object has art. And then for example, how rice came to Japan and moved to one side to the other side, which took about 800 years. Why it took 800 years? Even that made us to think how the people lived and not traveled much. Therefore, it took time. Compared to what we go through now, there's a huge change. Then my brother said when he brought his kids there, they were not interested in anything but just want to play. For some reason, we were interested. Maybe we have time to reflect after years of life's experience. But when you're young, what's the point of those old stuff when they want to play? We also talked about doing what we really like. So if the kids want to be playful and creative, what's wrong with that? Then we said some people pick up what they really like early in their age, others may not. So as we look at the evolution of people as a species, it's interesting to think there are so many varieties of mini species as human, as much as so many species within just roses. Everybody, so many variations, and that's natural. But sometimes we push ideas to the young people, thinking that's important, but people take it differently. Depends on their circumstance. So just thinking about those variations, potentials, varieties, and why. In a way, it's a heavy stuff. But if we accept as it is, like my personality and my brother's personality is different, and it makes it interesting. So that's the nature's way. I may explore more varieties than my brother or has been like that. Not to say who is better or worse, just as it is. But at the same time, like moving from New Zealand to Japan and looking at the differences in culture, the values, so I get a little confused to readjust to the protocol, so to speak, of Japanese environment. But again, root is the same. There may be certain tendencies that we may develop, like various varieties, but the root of various varieties are the same. And if we just acknowledge that, yeah, that was one of the point I felt. Not keep watching and thinking and digesting of all the style of life over years, also different nations or the continents, comparing how the civilization developed in Africa or in Asia. And that's just natural as it is. That what happened depending upon the environment, the experience. So as the roses have different species within many species, certainly humans have those. But if you push them to exchange too much information, just like kids don't want to study when they're young, want to play, they want to play. We may just need to listen to our heart, not pushing, but just accepting, or more accepting than trying. Yeah, I think that's how I felt, and I explained to my brother that at certain point, no more, and just be quiet. And to know that point, the feeling that's like something we need to be quiet, at least that's how I felt, and I think that's pretty good. not pushing. So moving from New Zealand to meet my brother for a few days, I'm leaving his house tomorrow. But after 1 year, I haven't seen, but we have so much to talk. I thought that's wonderful. Just like I say, we may have lived the same house, but experienced different, and comparing notes and discovering, because we see certain angle of the situation that other person may see the other part of this situation in the same house. And afterward, which means to get to know a person is really deep, provided that we are open to talk about these things and have some common ground to discuss about, whatever that is. And there's a mini awakening kind of thing, and also a nice sense of being able to talk, understand the situation better. So, what it means is that I've done this many times to move from one nation to the other nation and felt like going through certain abstract pattern and shaking myself. I'm going through the same even though I've done it many times, which I take it good. Why I take it good? In my case, I helped organization to change, and that requires a certain level of trust, even between two departments. They may not talk each other, but rather be separate and silo. So there's lots of awakening that happens, or the bottlenecks. So the same theme that I worked keep on coming back in various settings, including the case like today's experience. And I had more than I just talked. So, but in essence, well, I say interesting. At the beginning, I wasn't sure what to talk about for today's meditation. I guess I did meditate and pick up some insights. Whether that may be of interest to others, I don't know. But that's the same point. For one person to meet with the other, or different culture background, or within the same family, like my brother and myself, it's truly interesting. no end to find those interesting moments. Well, I'm going to sleep. You have a good day. Thank you. May all beings be happy.